Alright, so probably can't guess where I'm at if you're in Arizona. Oh, maybe all my old school buddies might know where I'm at. So I am at the Concord Mall here in Elkhart, Indiana. What you're staring at right here is what's left of the old Concord Mall Theater 1 and 2, I believe it was called. It only had 2 screens. Closed in, I'm going to say, the early 90s. I think the last movie I saw here actually was the original Jurassic Park. So that would have been around 93. A lot of good memories there. There were some other theaters in town. There was some downtown that closed probably in the early 80s. We, growing up as kids, probably either came out here or went to the Pierre Moran theater, which I think was 2 screens as well. That's long since gone. I just passed over on Cassopolis Street, the Encore Theater, which I guess has changed to an AMC, but it's the same building. I think originally that was only a 6-screen theater. I don't know what it is now, but yeah, that's all there is for movie entertainment here in Elkhart, I believe. So anyway, yeah, that's the old theater. I remember driving by here when we were kids, back when E.T. came out, early 80s, 82 I guess, and the lines were just wrapped around this building to get in to see it, probably for months, because there was only 2 screens here. I think the Star Wars movies were the same thing, same deal. So I'm gonna walk over to the mall here. So I am in actually the JCPenney parking lot. Man, it's so bright here. It's 6 o'clock. I forgot summer's here. The sun's out until 9. So I did a little digging into the history of the mall. I think it said it was built in 72. JCPenney actually wasn't one of the original tenants. It moved in, I think they said 76. Over here is one of the original tenants, not Hobby Lobby, but this building here used to be Montgomery Ward, which closed, I want to say, early 2000s. There's a Joann Fabric here. It's one of the older stores still here that's open. It used to be a variety department store, I believe, at one time back in the 80s. Probably gonna look kind of weird talking to my phone about the mall when I walk by people, but that's alright. It's 2018. People can get used to it.
They asked for McDonald's anyway.
So this is the Concord Mall. Piece of our childhood memories. I haven't been here in a couple years. Last time I was in Indiana was 2016. Well, I put some new lighting in the ceiling here in front of the Pennies. So that's kind of cool. So, right around the corner here, this closed off store actually used to be several things. When we were kids in the 80s, it was a ice cream shop. And then it became, in the 90s, became a Time Out arcade, I believe. There's some history for me right here in front of the JCPenney when I was, I don't know, probably about 8 or 9. The Boy Scouts Pinewood Derby was actually held right here. I might have done it twice, but I just remember my brother Kevin, his car was the General Lee. I think he got 4th place I don't know how mine did. They didn't win any trophies or anything. So it's really sad. There's not very many stores left open here. There's a Spencer Gift. The rumor is that it's about to fold. Hey Tommy, welcome to Elkhart. And there's Todd. Todd remembers this place, I'm sure. Actually, we came here 5 years ago for our 20-year high school reunion. Oh, there's a little arcade right here. Actually, the original arcade, the original one I remember from the 80s, I believe was right here. I believe. I know it was on a corner. Todd, you can chime in if you remember where Aladdin's castle was, but I think it was right here. Looks about right. It wasn't very big, but it kind of went back a little bit. There's a jewelry. I think this has always been a jewelry store of some kind. I think Claire's has always been here. I can remember since the 80s. Yeah, Todd, Aladdin's castle. Yeah, you remember it? So my memory's not so good anymore. I'm getting kind of old now, in my 40s, but I want to say this GNC here used to be a bookstore. No, actually it's right next to it. B. Dalton Books, maybe? Or Walden Books? I used to go in there all the time looking for Dungeons and Dragons stuff. That was like our favorite place to go on the wall to look for D&D stuff. Not sure what that used to be. There's the Joanne Fabrics up here. So the Hobby Lobby entrance is here. This used to be Montgomery Ward back in the day. This you like the 70s and 80s deco here. This wooden paneled place used to be a Bo Ricks, I believe. Bring them on camera. I have no idea how to do that. What do I do? Invite him? Chess King. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a blast from the past. Chess King. Yeah, and you're gonna have to tell me how to do that. I have no idea. So one of these are still here. This is a part of the original mall. These seating areas here. I think, if my memory serves me right, there used to be little TVs here back in the 80s. Surf shop. Surf shop. Public safety. That's a little odd. Okay, there's a famous storefront right here. Actually, it was a MCL cafeteria. It was a chain, I believe. There was one in West Lafayette, if I remember right, Todd, right? So, a couple of my buddies from high school used to work here. Tom and Chris. Hey, Scott. One of the reasons why I wanted to come down here and kind of do this, kind of for posterity's sake, because it does sound like maybe this is going to go away soon. So the next time I come in a year or two, it may not be here anymore. I don't know what this used to be. This looks like it was a Bath and Body Works at some point, maybe, something like that. Alright, what else we got here? Ben's Soft Pretzels. So, That was actually, this is the corner of the famous Caramel Corn. I don't know how long it's been gone, but I do remember that was Caramel Corn. Caramel Corn was one of our COIS sponsors every year. I remember, not personally, but in the soccer league when we were growing up. I remember Caramel Corn always had a team. So there is a food court. Always a bad sign of the food court when there is no food. There's nothing in there. And then the other side here. So this is the main mall entrance actually, right here. I think there used to be a bakery or a bank. I think this was the music store. I think this was Super Sounds and Enzo's. Wave hi to Facebook. So my buddy Shane Tullis actually used to work here when we were in high school. Funny story. If Shane's listening or not, I don't know. But he used to sneak out for lunch every day. I think our senior year, maybe junior year too. I don't remember. But he actually brought in a cup from Enzo's one time to our calculus class. Yeah, he had no shame. He also used to park in the teacher's parking lot. He was a rebel. There's a Subway. Yeah, I remember seeing the Subway here 2 years ago. So, I think this actually was the old Claire's. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right here in the corner. Kind of looks like it. The outside might have been a Claire's. I should probably turn around so you can see the middle of the mall. So this is kind of the saddest part of the Concord Mall. That was some beautiful 70s architecture in here. The real cool part about this, all these original seats here still. The coolest part about this actually is gone. If you look online, I'm sure you can find pictures of the fountain that used to be here. The fountain actually almost reached all the way to the glass windows up here, and back in its heyday, that fountain it was loud. I don't know if that contributed to one of the reasons why it closed down. It was probably expensive to maintain, but yeah, there used to be a huge fountain here, and I think in the 90s they finally closed it, and they started putting like potted plants, I think, in the fountain, and it looks like they tore it out totally, and now it's a play area. So, well, at least it's being used. This video's here. Oh, sorry, lost connection there. So there's three main wings to the Concord Mall. There's still JCPenney. The other side is Hobby Lobby, which used to be Montgomery Ward, and this one down here, which I believe closed recently. It says Carson's, but back in the 80s it was Robinson's, I believe. I think it was one of the original tenants, Robinson's, and then I think it was bought out and it became an Elder Beerman, and that was here for quite a while, I think through the 90s, maybe 2000s. There's not much left here. This is a dead zone for sure down here. So I want to say this one right here, it's a pretty big store front. I think this used to be Deb, like the women's clothing store. And my sister used to work there, at least for a while during high school. And this Christian bookstore, it came later, but it was open for quite a while, and it looks like it finally closed. Wasn't it Bethel Books at one point? I don't know. So here's it says Carson's up here. It closed recently, I believe, from what I learned online. Or within the last year, I suppose, I don't know. You see my reflection here. I'm wearing my Guinness soccer jersey from Dublin. One of my souvenirs from last year's trip to Ireland in the UK. So this building, or this store right here, I believe used to be the pet store. I think. It looks like it. I think that's been closed for a long time. There's some cool artwork out here to cover up the emptiness. So, by my count, there's actually only 2 stores open on this side here. Here's one of them, big shoe store. I don't think this was always Shoe Sensation, but I think it was always some kind of shoe store. Anybody who's watching, comment if you remember what it was. Friendlies. Just more open. There's this place over here called Maurice's. Don't know how long that's been there. Within the last probably 15-20 years. I don't think it was here in the original stores. Again, a lot of these are so, these storefronts are so generic, it's really hard to remember what they used to be. We're almost to the end here. Oh, there's a nail store open here. I guess the most shops that are still open are down on this wing here. Down by the Pennies. Got a cell phone place open there. So that's my quick tour of the Concord Mall. You know, for the most part, malls are kind of a thing of the past. Although we still got a couple of large ones out in Tucson still that people go to all the time. They're usually packed on the weekends. But I mean, the thing is they have the shops that people want to buy stuff from, and if you don't have enough customers, I mean, unfortunately, Elkhurst's not that big a town, and they can go, 20 minutes away from here to University Park Mall, which has just grown and grown over the last probably 30 years, that it's not that difficult for somebody that lives here to just go down the road, and there you are, you're at a mall that has everything. So that's it for my trip to the Concord Mall. Hope you all enjoyed it. Have a good night.